There's a wee cat. Hello and welcome to my garage. Today is the first day where I'm going to try, well, technically I might show you some stuff I've already tried. We're going to do some upholstery. So let me show you what I've got. So this is a stool that folds out like this, and it is a horrible, ugly, sort of burgundy colour with bits of blue paint. It must have been blue beforehand. And I was actually using it as a sort of table. When you put the legs out like this, these bits I used, so I have it right beside my chair in my, what I call my reading room, which is where I do all my work. I put like my sort of drinks and stuff sitting on here, put my feet up here, and then there was a little seat on here, which this is what I'm going to show you next. So we had this seat, which I have since covered. So I'll show you the back of it just so you know what it actually looked like. Was that just sort of black colour covered in paint, and I have very badly covered it, which you can see. You know, there's no no perfection here. This was kind of just like a sudden idea that I was going to do this, but I covered it with this really lovely material. If I could get it in focus. Can you see that? Is it in focus? Oh, everything's just fallen over. I got a staple gun and I stapled the material to it, and it will go on top of the chair, or on top of the stool rather, to look like this. Although obviously we're not done yet, because what I'm going to do is paint this, possibly these as well, and then hopefully it'll look a little bit nicer. And it's really handy to have next to my chair in my reading room / office, because then I can set books on here, set my drinks on here, put my feet up, etc, etc. However, we're not doing that right now. I'm going to do something else because I haven't got the paint for this yet, but I just wanted to show what I've done so far in my sort of challenge to myself to do a bit of upholstery. And let's do something today. Sponge, foam even. I've got a pile of foam delivered to me. I've also got some of this stuff, which I can't remember what it's called. And I've got 3 chairs, seats like this. This is probably the best one. The other ones I have are really, really sunken in the middle, but they're really faded, really old. And what I plan on doing, if we could get into focus again. Hello. So what I plan on doing is recovering these, taking them apart, recovering them, and I've got 3 of these chairs with this sort of similar sort of velvety red material, and like I said, the other 2 are pretty sunken in. So the first thing to do is to totally take everything off this, and as you can see, the back, there is like a million nails holding this old stinking chair together. So we've made some progress. This is everything that was inside the chair. So this is just a pile of really stinking grubby material. I could possibly reuse this bit, which is the bottom of the seat. It's possibly usable, we'll see. I do have like new material like that. Dust everywhere. So basically this, but picture a giant sunken in centre, went from this to this thing. So this took blooming ages. So I had to totally tear this whole thing apart. There is so many nails in this, and I kind of reached a point where I was like, do I need to get every last bit of material and every last nail out? We're not aiming for perfection here, and this is the first seat I'm going to try. You know, I've got 3 of these to do, so if the first one's a fail, then I might be able to improve on the second one and the third one. Or I might just totally destroy 3 chairs. So yeah, I might just go from this stage and not bother trying to get every last bit off, because this was the absolute bane of my life. Do you know what? At first it was really relaxing just tearing this thing apart, but then it reached a point where I was like, I can't keep going. I just want to kind of get on with it. So there's another fucking cat in here. Excuse me. How dare you come into my garage? So we've kind of done the easy bit so far. Tearing apart a chair, you know, as much as it's kind of annoying and difficult, you know, there's no sort of, yeah, it's not really that difficult. You just tear it apart. Whereas this is kind of where the difficulty comes in. I've got this giant piece of foam that I now need to cut to size, and I don't really know how I'm going to make this chair not seem like super square, you know. Am I going to cut the edge? What am I going to cut it with? Haven't thought any of this through. Should probably watch some videos and figure out how the hell to do this. But let's just see how I get on. So like I say, I haven't really got a plan, so I've just sort of set this on here, and I think what I might do is try and just cut around the edge and see what happens. So this is what we've got, a really tidy, neat, beautiful piece of foam, nice and clean. Let's be honest, it's a mess. That was kind of quite tough to cut that, and I feel like I'm going to need to figure out how to get these edges a bit tidier before I cover it. So I might go ahead and sort of cut bits off till I can maybe get it a bit smoother. Otherwise I might need to recut this. Okay, so after a quick Google about whether or not your edges need to be perfect for upholstering, I've discovered that they kind of do, because otherwise it's going to be, I mean, of course I kind of knew that, but I was kind of hoping that I wasn't going to have to try and make it perfect. And I tried to figure out what tool I could maybe use in order to kind of get those edges a bit more straight and smooth. And I did a quick Google search, and there's two suggestions: an electric kitchen knife, which I could possibly have, or a jam jar lid. I'm not totally convinced, but apparently if you screw in some screws and it will make it all rough, you can then use that almost as a kind of sander. I do have a sander, but I don't know if it would end up being a bit too much or whether it would actually work on foam, so I'm going to give this a go and see if it brings me any success. So here's what we've got. So these little rough bits supposedly are going to help get a smoother finish. I'll believe it when I see it. I think I need to get the electric kitchen knife. Come out with the big guns. I've got an electric kitchen knife. I don't know how this is going to go. I could end up just having a pile of foam lying on the floor and not remotely resembling the shape of a chair, but let's just see how it goes. Maybe the blade's just too blunt, but this is not working either. Ugh. You know, I might actually be getting somewhere with this tool. Ever so slightly smoother. Still a mess, but I'm going to keep going with it and we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this old piece of material as the base. It is a bit raggedy and could do with being updated, but what I might do is add a few more layers. And I've got this staple slash nail gun. At the minute there's staples in it. I'm going to see how they go, but then I might need to change it to nails instead. We're going to staple this down onto the frame of the seat. Ran out of staples, but the staples seem to be working quite well, so I'm going to stick with them rather than the nails. There we go, so that's the back so far. I'm probably going to add more layers of this material just to make it a bit stronger, and I'll probably do it on this side and possibly on this side as well. So that's the base of the chair done, I think. Still haven't figured out what to do with this monstrosity. I think what I need is some type of official tool that I don't really want to have to buy. I think what I might try and do is use this material and wrap it around the edge to kind of take away some of the roughness, something a bit like this. I'll just pull it a little bit tighter and maybe staple it or glue it together, because I don't think this is fixable, or the general bad rough edge is not today, not with like kind of getting the right type of tool. Okay, so I tried stapling this to the foam. Apparently this foam is made of frickin' steel. It did not work. So I have managed to come across some all-purpose glue, so I'm going to give that a go. Who knows whether it'll work or not. So far, this is a massive fail. Okay, so what I've managed to do, like I said, it's not stapling to the actual foam, but I stapled this piece of material just around the edge. It might cause some problems with not sticking down, and the glue that I have doesn't seem to work either. I thought super glue glued everything, but apparently not. What I might do is just try the material that I've got to cover it, just to see what it looks like, because it could be quite forgiving, because it's kind of like a sort of thickish velvety material, so it might actually work. And like I said, we're not aiming for perfection, and at this point we're aiming slightly below mediocre, frankly. So let me show you the material that I've got, which I really like. I showed you this earlier, so it's actually the same material, well, same design as this, but it's a slightly different material. This is just cotton, but I've got like a bigger piece of material, and it says velvety sort of texture, and it is of this image. So this is what I've got. I don't know if you can see everything, but let me just kind of move around as if I'm some kind of weird material ghost. But I really love the material. So I can use some scissors and cut out the shape that I need and wrap it round. So I did kind of like try and wrap it round just to see what it would look like, and actually it is a little bit forgiving. But I don't know, I should probably try and improve this a little bit. But see, because I've just come home from work, I'm in a bit of a... So I've cut out the material I need. So this is the pattern that's going to be on the chair. Hopefully I've cut it right. I did kind of just rush that. This is why you shouldn't do things after you come home from work. My brain is half dead. But anyway, this is the material. I'm going to wrap it round, see what it looks like, maybe staple it together, and we'll have a mediocre looking chair. How does that sound? Okay, the moment of truth. I do want to go over the wood with some kind of polish or stain of some sort to kind of bring it out a bit more. But here is the chair as it stands. I am actually pretty pleased with that. It is not perfect. It is somewhat mediocre, but I'm pretty happy with it. It is definitely an improvement. Not gonna lie to you, it really isn't that comfortable.